Before every name became history, there was silence, a moment of doubt, a single choice. The world only remembers the victory, but greatness begins in the shadows. Welcome to Mendora, where every legend was once ordinary.
They said she glowed in the dark. At night, alone in her lab, her notebook shimmered faintly, poisoned by the very discovery that made her immortal. This isn't the story of fame or brilliance. It's the story of a woman who burned herself to light the world. Marie Curie, the name we all know, but the life very few truly understand. Before she became a Nobel Prize winner, she was just Manya, a poor Polish girl under Russian occupation. Books were banned. Dreams were dangerous. So she joined an underground school, the Flying University. Classes were held in secret apartments, whispered between fear and hope. Learning wasn't a privilege, it was rebellion. Every night she walked home in the freezing cold, hungry, exhausted, but never hopeless. That's where greatness begins. Not with applause, but with hunger. When she finally reached Paris, the city wasn't waiting with open arms. She lived in a tiny attic, so cold that water froze in the basin overnight. She often fainted from hunger, yet refused to stop studying. She once said, "One never notices what has been done. One can only see what remains to be done." Her body was starving, but her mind was unstoppable. Then came Marie Curie, not her savior, but her equal. Together they entered a decaying wooden shed that smelled of acid and dust. Their so-called laboratory, no heating, no ventilation, only heaps of black ore and the faint hope of discovery. For years they stirred boiling cauldrons of chemicals, breathing toxic fumes. Until one night, the impossible happened. A small tube of radium, glowing softly in the dark. A new element, a new light for humanity. The world celebrated. The newspapers shouted her name. But when the Nobel Prize was announced, they tried to erase her from the award. A woman, they said, couldn't possibly be behind such a discovery. Pierre refused to accept it unless Marie's name was added. She became the first woman ever to win a Nobel Prize, and later, the only person to win two in different sciences. But her triumph was short-lived. Pierre was killed suddenly in a street accident. She was left alone, surrounded by silence, grief, and radiation. Even as her body weakened, she refused to stop. During World War I, she designed mobile X-ray units and personally drove them to battlefields. Thousands of wounded soldiers survived because of her. The same woman who was told she didn't belong in science was now saving lives with it. But her notebooks, her clothes, even her bones, remained radioactive for centuries to come. The light she gave the world was literally drawn from her own life. We celebrate her discoveries, but not her pain, her hunger, her exile, her loneliness. These were not side notes. They were the foundation. Every great achievement hides a cost unseen by the crowd. Marie Curie didn't chase fame. She chased purpose, and it demanded everything. You will have your own struggle, your own invisible labor. People might not see it. They might not understand. But if your purpose burns strong enough, you'll glow in your own way. Because history doesn't remember comfort. It remembers conviction. And maybe one day, someone will say of you, they burned themselves to light the world.
Every story you've heard here, well, it wasn't just about them. It was about you. Because every victory, every failure, every sacrifice is a reflection of what's possible inside all of us. This is Mendora, where history reminds you who you can become. Like, share, subscribe, and step into the next legend.